Hello, everyone. Mackie here, and welcome back to another episode of Taking a Stand 2026. We are still in first stand preview week, and we have now dealt with the team rankings and the player rankings and the coaching rankings. Now we have to figure out how will the meta in this event gonna shape out in most cases throughout the entire tournament. Okay, what did I say then? I'm saying that how will the meta in this tournament will shape out? Now, I have a little disclaimer for you guys, and I think this is probably that I forgot while I'm doing all my statistics. And by the way, these are all statistics. I will explain that in a few. But there is one disclaimer that I wanted to tell. This tournament patch is 16.6. The notes that I got and the stats that I got is from 16.5. So it's a little bit of a skewed statistics in my opinion. But consider that Riot doesn't change too much in terms of like patch changes and bigger events. They are probably buffing Skarner and buffing other champions, and even Lee Sin. I think I heard they're buffing Lee Sin in like 16.6. But regardless, if all these things are the status quo, then these are the stats based on the 16.5 metric that I have. And I want to thank two websites for it. First, First of all, we have to thank gold.gg to provide some of the stats that are in, including, you know, champions and summoners runes, stats about it, different roles, although he's also mostly support, the damage composition, presence of the patch, and of course the players that play the champion, and also the regions that involve the champion the most, like in presence and the number of games and win rate and all that stuff. The second website that I now want to thank, and pretty much the most important part, is LOLlytics. LOLlytics. Okay, LOLALYTICS. This is the website, by the way. And it shows you not only the statistics for the build, all the numbers and all kinds of stuff, but also show you what the skill priority and how to build and the counter matchups and all those beautiful graphs and the pick rate in the game and the ban rate and all kinds of stuff and the bills and all kinds of stuff. It's a little complicated, of course, for all you people, but just simply put, is these are the stats of how you play the champion, what items you ability to play the champion, and how you match up against said champion. So these are the two websites that I used to determine how will these champions match up in first stand in a hypothetical world, of course, in a rift. And all of these stats plus the one we get gold GG delivers not deliver this, but also this, in which the win rate of the counter champions, like, how good is Cassante against the Rumble? How good is Zahid over Jarvan and Zinjao? Those kind of stuff. Those, small details, some statistical details that show you how this champion is fared in their own role. And, of course, which champion will go in, which player in first stand is going to go in with that champion that plays the best. Now, I would have gone like 20 champions in different roles, but in the interest of time, I decided to cut this down into 3 champions per role. That's 15 champions that I'm going to look at, and also the builds that they are make, and the players that are going to play the champions in this tournament. If assuming the patch doesn't change as much, which I'm assuming they're not gonna change as much. So yeah, this is kind of like, how do I say this? This is more of a statistical information about the different champions being take place in first stand, but also give you an educational guide into how you build your champions, how to play them, what kind of counter you need to avoid, and all kind of stuff. So yeah, it's part informational and part educational. So, if you like all this stuff, this is pretty much for you. So we begin in the top lane, ladies and gentlemen, to give you an idea of all to go. We're gonna start with the flaming Yodel of Rumble. He's got a 39.8% pick rate among all the regions. And by the way, I kind of filter out the regions. I'm talking CBLOL, LCS, LCP, the big regions, not the EU Masters and the lower regions, of course. We're talking about in terms of the bigger regions, of course. So he got a pick rate of 39.8%. He's at a win rate of 56% and a KDA of 3.4 with a CS per minute of 8.5 and a 746 damage per minute at a 400 gold per minute at 1.1 CSD for 15 minutes. Gold if it's at 246 and an XP of 128. That is pretty much a big damage for a top line. And in case many people wanted to know how to play him, you build Q Flame Spitter, E Electric Harpoon, and W Scrap Shield. And your summer spells are Flash and Ignite, which will give you 66.25 in the games. Your main runes are Arcane Comment, Nimbus Cloak, and Transcendence. Now, I would have write down what they mean and all kinds of stuff, but I just have a lazy brain, but also B, I just don't want it to spend like 20 more minutes, of course. And by the way, I need to like get on schedule with the shorts and the other stuff, of course. So I decided to just leave it be. But if you are a League of Legends pro or have been like challengers, and by the way, I get these stats from, not only in the pro scene, but also the challenger scene as well, which is, by the way, the recommended um recommended rank for ranked players, actually recommended role for pro players, by the way. That's what I'm going to use. So these are for some challenger players. And I'm not saying this to disrespect the lonely iron players or all kinds of stuff. I'm just saying these are just what the challengers play. The high tier League of Legends players play. So for early game, you have to build Doran's Rings and Held Portion, which is 65.89% of the win rate. You go Plated Steel Caps, Leandre's Torment, and Bloodletter's Curse at 62.9%. Then if you're going to go for an item, you have to go either Zonia's Glass, which is 64.1%, or Riftmakers, which is like 3/4 of the time. For your fifth item, Zonia's Hourglass, or Rabadon's Death Cap, or Shadow Flame. And if you want to go further into the late game, you got to go Morelicon, Zonia's Hourglass, or Rabadon's Death Cap. So those are the recommended builds by some challenger players in 16.5. We don't know anything about 6.6, but this is the build for Rumble in 16.5. And hopefully they might use it in first set. Hopefully. Now for the regional stats. LEC got an 89% presence in this entire LEC versus. So that's 89% presence in terms of picks and bans, of course. And by the way, Rumble got banned. I think a lot, of course. 38 games played, 55.3% win rate. For the LCK, 75% presence, 19 games, 52.6% win rate. 70 LCS, 71%, 15 games, 26.7% win rate. CBLOL, 65%, 31 games, 48.4% win rate. LPL, 60%, 53 games, 66%, 57% for LCP, 27 games, 66.7% in win rate. So in terms of the win rate, LCP has the most. In terms of games played, the LPL has the most and has the second highest win rate, which means if Ben, pun intended, gets his hands on the Rumble, he could be dangerous. And he is the most dangerous player in this tournament. He played 5 games on Rumble, 100% perfection, and an 8 KDA, which is scary. Absolutely scary if it's given the hands of a mighty player like Ben. Next up is Cassante. 71.5% pick rate, 42% win rate. And oh, by the way, my brain is a poo-poo head because I did forgot to tell you about the counters of said Rumble. So in the counter matchups, he has a stronger, victory over Cassante, 69.57%, Chase at 62.5%, Ambessa 56.25%, Jax 35.71%, Aurora 81.82%, although Aurora has not played much in the top, but still, and Aatrox is 70%. So he has a stronger win percentage among all players, except Jax, but I think it's probably like a few games, of course, like 6 or 7 games. But in terms of the stats, Rumble is looking at the strongest top laner going into first stand, of course, based on metrics and stats. Now, we go to Cassante, by the way, and have a 71.5% pick rate with a 42% win rate, 2.6 KDA, 8.4 CS per minute, 439 damage per minute, 364 gold per minute, minus 1.1 CS in 15 minutes, minus 192 at gold difference in 15 minutes, which is like he's not the most farm heavy CS kind of player. He has an XP, of course, at 11 per 15 minutes. And for the counters on Cassante, he is not good at Rumble, 42.86%. For everybody else, 61.9% on Jace, 23.53% on Gnar. So not great against Gnar in the statistics department. Like well below average. He's 56.25 against Abessa, 44.44% on the win rate in Sion, and if you want to go Zaid, 33.33% in the win rate. And for Cassante, you want to get Nutofo strikes, Pathmaker, and footwork to go before he gets his R. Then you get Flash and Teleport at 49.45% because, top laner, although you might get a quest, of course, there's role quests to help. Then for the main runes, you got Grasp of the Undying, Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Overgrowth. And then for the secondary, you got the Biscuit Delivery and Cosmic Insights. For early game, you got Doran's Shield and Health Potions with its 49.84% of the win rate. Then you go core build of Plate Steel Caps, Iceborne Gauntlet, and Jack Show, which accounts for 56% of the win rate. Then for item, the item 4, if you wanted to put another item beside those three, you can either go Runin's Omen, which is 54.55% of the win rate, Thornmail with 70%, Runin's Omen with 60% for your fifth item, or Thornmail for 66.67% of the item, or 2/3 of your games, or Spirit Visage if you want more tankiness. And if you want to go real deep, you can go Thornmail, Rudoan's Omen, or Protoplasm Harness. That's wild. He's gonna be not a strong champion early, but once you give him like 2 to 3 items of tankiness, he's going to be an absolute beast and are pretty much hard to kill. Especially when you play like a front to back kind of game involving like Jinx or a Talia. Of course, he can just his arc and bring the player out of the rift and just he's a great playmaker but also a great tank for your solid team, of course, to play front to back. For the regionals, of course, LEC 57%, 42 games, 47.6%. LCP 37%. That is, presence, of course. 30 games, 26.7%. CBLOL 35%, 16 games, 56.3%. LCK 31%, 25, 56%. LCS 31%, 14 and 50%. And LPL 26%, 42 and 33.3. The best player to play in first stand with Cassante is happening to be Broken Blade with 6 games on him at an 83.3% clip and an 8 KDA. That is amazing. Now, I think I talked about it yesterday or today, by the way, as the video is already come out. But I talked about this yesterday and talk about how Broken Blade has not been the most quintessential player in terms of international skill. But I think I digress. Performances like these, and by the way, he's not just a Cassante player. He's a mixed bag in some cases. He can play so many different champions, and he's a unique pocket pick in some cases, kind of like a Dokla, of course. He can play Cassante if he has to, but he doesn't have to, of course, as evidenced in his 6 games. So he's not a heavy Cassante player, but he's a decent Cassante player in most cases. Finally, to the Queen of Noxian and Mel's mother, by the way, Ambessa. 35.9 pick rate, 60 win rate, 3 KDA, 8.9 CS per minute, 718 in damage per minute, 406 gold per minute at a minus 0.4 CS per minute, and a 75 gold difference at 15 minutes, and an XP of 7. And for the counter matchups, not so good as Renekton at 47.37%, good at Rumble 52.17%, Aatrox dominated 87.5%, although some people do not play Aatrox top most of the time. They mostly play Aatrox in the jungle, but I digress. Cassante 78.57%, Jax 85.71%, Zaid 61.54%, and Sion 75%. So she is really good at some of the best top laners we ever have. I think she and Rumble are kind of like the 2 best top laners in terms of champions and statistics we're probably going to see in first stand. And that's going to be scary, of course, especially in a fearless draft, by the way, when you only have to pick the champion once and that's it. It's like, who's going to get the advantage, of course? And picks and side selection will be huge, of course. So it's kind of like a little psychological advantage to see which person will get the OP champion and who is good at it to help the team elevate and win. It's going to make a difference. And also, synergy is kind of important because I didn't put any synergy, of course, stats to see which player is synergized with who, because that'll be a waste of time, of course. But he's probably he's. I think she's pretty much big synergized with like your Nocturnes or your Pantheons, of course. So if we look at Ambessa, she's done Cunning Sweep or Sundering Slam, Lacerate, and Reputation. And for Summoner's Flash, it's Flash and Ignite, which is 62.5% of the win rate. Grasp of the Undying, Shield Bash, and Second Wind and Overgrowth as the main runes. The secondary rules are Magical Footwear and Biscuit Delivery. Now, I think I know one thing about Magical Footwear. It's pretty much simple. You don't buy any boots, of course, for 15 minutes, but every kill that you got is gonna, decrease the timer even more. So by the time the timer is pretty much up, you get your magical boots and you get to move everywhere in the map. It's huge. Duran's Shield and Health Potion, which account to 52% of your win rate. Eclipse, Plated Steel Caps, and Spear of Children accounts for 58.33% of the win rate. Death's Dance, 64.08%, or Maltuous, 73.91% on the item 4 if you want. You can go Death's Dance, which is 68.75%, or GA, Guardian's Angel, 72.73%, or Endless Hunger, 72.73%. So both are probably same. Guardian Angel, 85.71%, and the Seralda's Grudge or Modal Reminder for the 6th item. For CB LOL, a nice 69% with 13, 69.2%. LCP 57%, 17, 52.9%. LPL 45%, 43, 60.5%. 44 for LCS, 8 and 87.5%. LCK 42%, 20, 50%. And LEC 41%, 16, 56.3%. So in terms of big statistics, LPL is still dominant. And by the way, no surprise that Bin is the biggest player on Ambessa. 3 games played, 100%, and 5.5 KDA. But he's not the only one, by the way, because Sino played 3 games of Ambessa as well, and he won all 3 with a 4.3 KDA. So you're looking at pretty much the 2 best players in Ambessa in Bin and Zino. And again, that'll be an important matchup in terms of like how this whole thing will go. So we move from the top lane to the jungle. First off, Xinjiao, 75.4 pick rate at a 49% win rate with 3 KDA, 7.1 CS per minute, 491 damage per minute, 391 gold at 0.8 CS per minute, 15, and a minus 86 gold if it's at 15 minutes, with a minus 49 XP at 15 minutes. For the champions counters, yep, he is decent on Lee Sin, although we don't see much Lee Sin play. I think we saw some Lee Sin playing in this patch, of course. I think I saw some Lee Sin playing, but in this case, 54.36% in the win rate versus Lee Sin, versus Viego, 84.62%, versus Aid, 60.87%. Jarvan, the fourth, 45.45%, and I think that's the only low winning percentage we have against Xinjiao. Ambessa 70.59%, J 64.71%, and Vi 52.94%. Okay. And for the Bills, you have to go W, E, and Q. That is Wind becomes Lightning, Audacious Charge, and 3 Talon Strike. You got Flash Smite for 61.1%, which is, by the way, jungler. I think everybody's going to use Smite at this point. If you don't play with Smite, you might get suspicious. Kind of like Nayu, I guess. Anyways, main runes, Conqueror Triumph, Legend Electricity, and Coupe de Grace. For secondary is Magical Footwear, Cosmic Insight. For starting items, Gust Walker, Hatchling, and Health Potion with a 58.44%. For core builds, Thunder and Sky, Plated Steel Caps, and Black Cleaver, which accounts for 69.23% of your win rate. Death's Dance, 69.1%, and Guardian Angel, 76.76%. For your 4th item, for your 5th item, you can go Marmal Mortis, which is 64.29%, Guardian Angel, 58.33%, or Death Dance, which is 77.78%. And if you want to even go further, Spirit Visage, 75% for some extra tankiness, Guardian Angel for some sustain, which is 33.33%, or 1/3 of your games, and Sterix Gauge, which is an optional item, although it played only like once in one. For your regionals, 37%, 60, and 58.3 for LPL. LCK 34%, 34 and 44.1%. LCS 34%, 12 games, 41.7%. LEC 33%, 29 and 51.7%. LCP 32%, 22, 45.5, and CBLOL 29%, 17, 35.3. And the best Zinja player at first stand will be Jun from BLG. 8 games played, 87.5% win rate at 70.6 in KDA. But he's not the only Chinese jungler who can play Zinja brilliantly. Junjia, 7 games, 57.1% at 2.8 KDA. So you got the two best junglers from the two best teams in the LPL playing pretty in Xinjiang games. So this is gonna be a really scary prospects for some of the for both Fearex and Genji. Although you can say that Genji are still the favorites, I will say that if you get the hands of Junjia on the Jinjiao, whew, it is gonna be lights out for you guys. All right, we move on to Pantheon. By the way, Pantheon. I'll show you. Sorry, Jarvan. Jarvan and Pantheon. 45.2% on the pick rate, 54 win rate, 4.1 KDA, 6.8 CS per minute, 416 damage per minute, 386 gold per minute, minus 1.6 CS at 15 minutes, minus 119 gold difference at 15, and 100 minus 112 XP per 15 minutes. Great. And for the champions counters, he is not so good at Lee Sin, 46.6% in terms of win rate. Viego is 50-50, a coin toss. Xin Zhao, 68.18%. Ambessa, 68.42%. Vi, 66.67%. Nilly, 68.75%, although I don't think no people are going to play Nilly in this tournament. Zaire, 64.29%. Nocturne, 58.32%. So he got like better win rates against everybody except Lee Sin and Viego in some cases. So this Jarvan player is a pretty scary stuff. And combine him with Oriana, which we'll get to later, and of course Rumble is the classic hot pocket comp, which is like R in the person, you know, you use Shockwave or something, and you flame splitter the whole thing. Or you like his R, Rumble's R. I mean, I'm sorry, my League of Legends knowledge is not great. You know, not playing as much is gonna give me whiplash, but it is what it is. So, but you already know what I mean. QEW is your build first. Dragon Strike, Damascus Standard, and Golden Aegis. Flash Mine, which is 57.14%, which is by the way, everybody's like, you know, we all know Flash Mine is the most important part. But look at the stats: 57.14% for Jarvan and 61.1% for Xin Zhao. Why are many people are playing Flash Smite with Jarvan at 57.14%? Although you might play something differently and not play Smite and not play Flash, and you'll be dumb, but I digress. Conqueror, Triumph, Legend, Haste, and Flash Stand. Secondary Cashback, Cosmic Insight. For your starting items is Moss Stomper, Seedling, and Elf Potion with 61.9%. Core build, Profane, Hydra, Ionian Boots, or of Lucidity, and Axum Arc. Which, by the way, I did not put a percentage, by the way. Dumb me. But I think it's been in around the 65 percentile, of course. Sterix Gauge, 78.5%. Actually, 78.57% in your fourth item. Spirit Vintage, 70.59%. For your fifth item, is optional. Ruinous Omen, which is most of the time. Guardian Angels, which is 83.833% of the time. Or Sterix Gauge, which is 71.43%. For your item 6 is either Sterix Gauge, Guardian Angel at 80%, or Thornmail at 68.67%. For your regional, LCS 61%, 13 69.2%, LPL 58%, 51 60.8%, LEC 58%, 27 44.4%, CBLOL 56%, 24 41.7%, LCP 55%, 20 60%. LCK 43%, 33, and 51.5%. And the best Jarvan player to ever come to first stand is also Junjia with 6 games played, 83%, 83.3%, and 3.9 KDA. So Junjia is pretty much scary for not only on the Xin Zhao, but also on the Jarvan, which is going to be a really strong one. I wonder if I rank Junjia wrong, based on the stats that I have. I wonder if I rank Junjia wrong. I understand that this is probably going to be like stayed, but what if I kind of like change a little bit and just, you know, make Junji an S tier? But I decided not to. I'm just leaving it as it is. So Pantheon, 49.3%, 47 win rate, 3 KDA, 6.7 CS per minute, 504 damage per minute, gold per minute at 390, CS at 15 minutes minus 4.6, gold if it's at minus 225, and XPD at 15% at 15 minutes minus 158. In terms of counters, and I know I'm rambling just a little bit, and I know this might find boring, but come on, guys. If you wanted to have this, man, if you wanted to play your better games, if you want to be like a better challenger to some people, you gotta need some tips. You gotta need some counters, especially coaching, by the way. Coaching has to tell you which champion is better on this counter and all kinds of stuff. So if you find this boring, you can click off right now and just go with something else. But for you guys staying in, you're gonna have to watch this whole thing. It's gonna be important for you guys. It's going to win you like 10 or 20 games this season. Trust me. Trust me, you're gonna know. Versus Viego, 43.75%. Lee Sin, 33.33%. Zinja, 71.43%. Versus Graves, 53.85%. Graves is not important, but still. 45.45%. Vi, 44.44%. Zaire, 37.5%. So Jarvan have been falling off in this patch. He has been falling off. And by the way, I don't think anybody has played Pantheon as much in terms of like based on where the patch is. So to have like one win rate against a champion that doesn't look good, and although Jinjiao 71.43%, which is high, pretty good, but the fact that they only have, in terms of meta champions, the only one who had better than 60%, it's just not great. Not great at all. So in terms of Pantheon, go Comet Spear, Shield Vault, and Aegis Assault. You go Flash Smite, which is 51.35%. Then you go Conquer, Triumph, Legend, Haste, or Electricity, or Coupe de Grace and Cut Down. You either go Magical Footwear or Cash Back or Cosmic Insight. Your starting items are Star Claw Pop and Health Portion, which is 56.25% of the win rate. Sunrent Sky, Black Cleaver, Mercury's Trance at 50%. Star Gauge 80%, Guardian Angel 40%, and your fifth item is Guardian Angels, Serpent Fangs, and 50%. I don't have like the sixth item, but I think you might build Guardian Angel or Visage, of course, if you want to be tankier, of course. For the regional, 64%, 10, 60%. LEC, 54%, 28, 35.7%. LCK, 46%, 27, 59.3%. CBLOL, 46%, 15, 46.7%. LCP, 38%, 20, 55.5%. 33%, 44, and 40.9%. The best player all going to first stand who plays Pantheon good. It's Jun from BLG, 7 games played, 71.4% at a 4.7 KDA. Okay, then. I'm going to take a little break, and we'll talk about mid laner coming up. Okay, I am back, and now it is time to give the ladies of the mid lane some love. First off, the clockwork brilliance of Orianna, the every meta, one shockwave to change the whole game kind of stuff. 28.6% pick rate, 48% win rate, 4.1 KDA, 9.3 in CS per minute, 697 on damage per minute, gold per minute at 413, gold CS at difference at 15, 3.5, 240 on gold difference at 15, and XP at 15 minutes at 15 at 59. So for the counters, your Ari is 54.55%, Rise 57.14%, Akali 55%, Syndra 62.5%, Azir 76.92%, and Victor Yone is like 50-50, a coin toss. For your builds, by the way, and I'm going to just exclude it, there you go. You got to go Command Attack, and then Command Dissonance, and then Command Protect before you go Command Shockwave. Flash goes to 57.32%. I think those are the summer spells. Summon Ari, Mana Flow, Ban, Celerity, and Gathering Storm for your main roots. Blown, Plainted, and Unflinching for your secondary. Doran's Ring and 2 health potions, of course. Then you got your core build of Luden's Echo, Sorcerer's Shoes, and Shadow Flame at 57.78% of the win rate. Then Magi Soul Stealer, 91.6%. 91.67% on the win rate. My goodness. And for everybody doing no Magi Soul Stealer, for every assist and kill, you gain stacks. And if you die, you lose 10 stacks. So that's pretty much a simple one. Crypto Bloom, 66.67%. for your items. So it's either Magi Soul Eater or Crypto Bloom because of the high rate. I think many people wanted to go Magi Soul Eater for more stacks. Zonia's Hourglass at 80%, or Magi Soul Stealer at 78.57%, or Rabidon's Death Cap at 62.5%. And then if you go deeper, you got to go Magi Soul Stealer, Rabidon's Death Cap, or Crypto Bloom. And then for your regionals, LPL 79.79% at 30, 57.7%. CB Law 74%, 16, 37.5%. LEC 70%, 28, 57.1%. 69% for LCP, 18, 33.3%. LCK 60%, 27, 48.1%. And LCS 56%, 16, 43, and 8%. The best Oriana player to come in the first stand is obviously the best mid laner in all the West. Caps, 6 games played, perfect on Oriana, 6.4 KDA. And that's pretty much no surprise considering how good he is in this season. Well, not regular season, but playoffs, he was a different beast. Onwards to Ari, the Vastaya Fox. 65.9% pick rate. Wow. 58% win rate, 5.4 KDA, 9.3 CS per minute, 682 damage per minute, 421 gold per minute, 4.4 CSD at 15 minutes, 155 gold difference at 15, and 28 XPD at 15. And for the champion's counters, by the way, she's good at Silas, 56%, although we don't see Silas as much, but we can assume he's good at Silas. 67.39% against Aurora, 61.54% against Victor, 52.63% against Rise, Oriana 68.75%, Talia 53.33%, Twisted Fate 58.62%, Zoe 58.33%, and Annie at 50%. So she is of a pretty high rate against all these champions. So I think you can say that Ari is probably the main mid laner in this entire tournament, assuming we get some of it. You got to go Orb of Deception, Foxfire, and Charm for E. Then you go Flash and Ignite for 60.51% of the win rate, which is your summer spells. And then go for main rules, Electrocute, Taste of Blood, Sixth Sense, and Ultimate Hunter. And then go Mana Flow and Scorch. For your starting items is Doran's Rings and 2 health potions, Malignance, Ionian Boots of Lucidity, and Hextech Rocket Belt at 73.24% of your core build items. You're going to go either Magi Soul Cedar, 88.71%, or Crypto Bloom at 68.97%. And then for fifth item, you go Magi Soul Cedar, 80%, or Zonia's Hourglass at 70.83%, and Shadow Fame at 66.67%. And then if you want to go further, Banshee's Veil, 87.5%, Zonia Hourglass, 60%, and Magi Soul Cedar, 6%. But I think many people want to go, Zonia's Hourglass and Banshee's Zeal, of course. So that it is what it is. And for the regional, LPL 25%, 31, 51.6%, LCP 23%, 18, 72.2%, LCK 22%, 16, 62.5%, CBLOL 19%, 9, 55.6%, LCS 15%, 6 games at 50%, and LEC 10% and 9, 55.6%. 10% for LEC. Not good. Especially if you play like the same amount of games as CB LOL and have a way better presence, of course. And the same amount of win rate, of course, with CB LOL. So, the best Talia player, by the way. Oh, Jesus. I think I forgot about the best Ari player. So, let me just see if I can find some Ari stats. Let me just see if I can find some Ari stats, by the way. And see if I can find the Ari stats for the best player in the tournament. So I think it's Dyer. Hold up. Let me just filter. Let me just filter out. No America's Cup. No EWC. First is not there. IM. LCK, LCP, LCS, LEC. No LMS. No LTA. Thank God. LTA is gone. MCS. MSI and Worlds. Refresh. And there you go. That means Dyer is the best player on the Ari. By the way, he is the player for T-Secret Wales. Am I getting it right? Yes, he's the mid laner from T-Secret Wales. And its stats are 4 games played, perfect on the RE with an 8.7 killed KDA. And I mean, Yahoo could have been better with that, but we don't even have it. So yeah, so this is the best RE player we have in this tournament. So did not put it in there. My apologies. Should do better this time. Talia, by the way, the Stone Forger, of course, in the winter. She's a 72.8% pick rate at a 47% win rate, 3.9 KDA and 9.4 CS per minute, 616 damage per minute at a 411 gold per minute, CSD at 15, minus zero point 0.7, and a minus 97 gold if it's at 15, with a 6 SPD at 15. And for the counters, she's good at Rise, 56.767%, Aria at 67.86%. That's win rate, by the way. Oriana 70. Wow. Aurora 66.67%, same thing as Silas and Zoe, and Twisted Fate 77.78%, and Anivia, by the way, gets a lot of few picks, of course, 71.43%. So this is a really good champion with another really good win rate. I think Ari and Talia is going to be like the best mid laner battle to go into first stand. Of course, she can do, I think, you have to build Threaded Folly, Q first, and E, then W, Unraveled Earth, and then Seismic Shove. Then you have to go Flash Ghost at 64.23% of your summoner spells. Then you Phase Rush, Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Then your secondary Presence of Wind and Legend Haste. You got to build Doran's Ring and then 2 health potions, which is 60.67% of the win rate. Then core build is Ionian Boots of Lucidity, Archangel Staff, and then Ryla's Crystal Scepter, which has been done for 70.69% of the win rates. Then for fourth item, you got to go Leandre's Torment, which is going to count for 60.87% of the wins, or Rabadon's Dead Cap, which is 82.61%. And then for your fifth item is Sonia's Hourglass, 72.73%, Void Staffs, 90.91%. Wow. I think that's pretty much for like a few games, of course. And Rabadon's Dead Cap, which is 60%. And then for the sixth item, you got to go Rabadon's Dead Cap, which is played only 20% of the time, or you might go Zonia's Hourglass or Crypto Bloom, whichever comes first. For your regions, LEC 48%, 32 59.4%, LCS 46%, 18 55.6%, CBLOL 35%, 17 52.9%, LCP 31%, 22 40.9%, LCK 29%, 33 39.4%, and LPL 24%, 40 42.5%. And the best Talia player to come out at first stand is also Caps with 4 games played, 100% win rate, and a 10 KDA. That's amazing. That's wild. But he's not the only one, ladies and gentlemen. Hongq can actually cook as well. Play for JDG, 6 games played, 66.7%, or 2/3 of his games, and a 3.2 KDA. Now we move from the mid lane to the bot lane. And we got some dangerous bot lanes, but I decided to go for 3. I could have put Corky in there or Ash, but I decided to go with my main 3. Israel first up with 58.8% of the pick rate with 48% win rate, 3.9 KDA at a 10 CS per minute, damage per minute 897, gold per minute at 482, and CS at 15 minutes 3.1, and gold if it's at 15 minus 83 with 107 XPD at 15 minutes. So in terms of the counters, he's good at Kai'Sa, 58.38%, Yanara, 56.41%, Jin at 58%, Corky, 54.05%, Sivir, 57.14%, Lucian, 53.97%, Varus, 56.25%, Caitlyn, 57.45%, and Aphelios, 53.33%. So he's been strong against like every other, like 58, 55%, like the high tier, close to 60% on most of their champions. So I think Israel is probably like one of the strongest mid bot laners in all of the counters going into first stand. Now, in order for build Israel, you got to go Mystic Shot, Arcane Shift, Essence Flux. Then you go Flash Barrier for 55.02% of his wins. Then you go Lethal Temple, Presence of Mind, Legend Haste, and Cut Down. Then your secondary is going to be Triple Tonic, Jack of all trades. For your starting items, you're going to go Doran's Blade and Health Potion, which is accounted for 54.98% of the wins. Then you go Trinity Force, Ionian Boots, Love Lucidity, Mana Moon, 56.9% of your wins. Then for your fourth item, you got to go Endless Hunger, 60.05%, or Spirit Shoulder, which is 60%. And then Sir Lid's Grudge, 58.14%, or Spirit Shojin, 54.92%, or Endless Hunger, 68.13%. And item 6 is Cerebral's Gold, which is 53.9%, or Spirit Shojin at 57.69%, or Endless Hunger at 47.62%. I think I got my items wrong or something. Or it's going to be like, you either build one of these three items for your fifth items, or you build one item and then the other item, of course. It doesn't matter, of course. That probably have to play as well like that. So, onward to the next one. Yanara, 56 point. Ooh. I think I'm missing like a support there. It's supposed to be three supports. But I decided like I'm gonna have to wing it. Let's move on to the bot lane. Yanara, 56.8%, 51% win rate, 4 KDA, 10.2 CS per minute, 733 damage per minute, 517 gold per minute, -2 in CS difference at 15, 115 gold difference at 15, and -17 XPD at 15. So for the counters, he's good at Israel, 55.47%, Kaiser, 53.39%, Videos, 50.88%, Jinx, 54.84%, although we don't see much Jinx if you want to go later into this series. Jinx probably like your last option. Corki, 61.82%, Jin, 62%, Lucian, 56%, Caitlyn, 59.57%, Ash, 60%, Varus, 71.88%, and Sivir, 66.67%. So Yanar is a really, really strong champion. And for your build, you had to go Cultivation of Spirit first, and then Arc of Judgment / Ruin, and Kamiya Steps / Untouchable Shadow. Then you go Summer Spells with Flash and Barriers at 55.45%, Lethal Tempo, Triumph, Legend, Bloodline, and Cutdown. Secondary, your Cash Buck and Triple Tonic. Then you go Core build of Kraken Slayer, Berserker Greaves, and Fiend Hunter Bolts. And that's going to be like a 66% win rate, of course. Then you got Infinity Edge, which is 64%, and the Immortal Reminder at 46.88% to like avoid the healing and the tankiness, of course. Then you go item number 5, you had to go Infinity Edge at 58.59%, or Lord Dominic's Regard, 71.84%, or Immortal Shield Bowl with 61.25% for sustain. I think for your fourth item, you have to go like, I don't know, Gwynsu's or something, but that's just what the stats said. Immortal Shield Bowl, 72.5%. Lord Dominic Regards, 55.88%. Hex Expictix C44, 58.82%. That's for your sixth item. For your regionals, LEC, 80%, 40, 60%. 54%, 64, 45.3%. LCK, 53%, 36, 52.8%. CBLOL, 46%, 22, 45.5%. LCS 41%, 15, 60%, and LCP 36%, 28, 50%. And the best Yanara player to come out of first stand is Eddie from T Secret Wells with 7 games played, 71.4% win rate, and a 6.1 KDA. He is that good on Yanara. He is that good on Yanara, guys. So, on to Varus, which is, what some other person's favorite champion. I'm not going to say who. 26.1% pick rate with a 59% win rate. Actually, 26.1 pick rate, 59% win rate. I think I got it right. Yeah. 4.1 KDA, 9.8 CS per minute, 878 damage per minute, 493 gold per minute, 2.2 CSD at 15 minutes, 62 gold difference at 15 minutes, and 209 XPD at 15. For your champions, counters, Israel, 57.89% win rate, Jinx, 43.33%, Yanara, 46.43%, so those are like the two champions he's weak at. Even Sivir, 30%, Jesus. Jin, 65.38%, Kaiser, 69.57%, Ash, 76.92%, Caitlyn is coin toss, 50-50, Fedia, 72.73%, and the same thing as Lucian, 72.73%. For your builds on Varus, by the way, you got to go Pierce and Arrow, Hail of Arrows, and Blight Quiver. You got to go Flash Barrier with 55.67%. You got to go Arcane Common, Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Then you got a Cashback and Triple Tonic. And your starting items are Doran's Blade and Health Potion. And then your core build is Yumu's Ghost Blade, Boots of Swiftness, Mana Moon, 66.67% of your core build for your win rate. And then you got to go for item 4, Edge of Night, 67.57%, or Taminias, which is 66.67%, or 2/3 of your games. For your fifth item, you got to go Sorella's Grudge, which is 70%, Jack Show, which is 53.85%, or Edge of Night, which is 76.92%. And if you want to go really deeper, by the way, Edge of 9, 50%, Sorrel's Gold, 83.33%, and Serpent's Fang, 60%. And by the way, you can go like another deep item, of course, because I think the bot lane role is going to give you like a seventh item, of course. So if you wanted to go further, you just go further. Those stats never said that, but I think you'll explore your own adventure, I guess. CB Law got a 99% presence in this entire tournament. 99% presence. He only played 10 games with a 90% win rate, by the way. 89% for LEC with 16, 88, 68, and 80%. 81% for LCS, 10, 60%. LCK 70%, 22, 54.5%. LCP 67%, 24, 54.2%. And LPL 63%, 48, 52.1%. Best Varus player at first stat is probably the best ADC we ever seen in the world in Ruler for Gen G. 3 games played 100% with a 12 KDA. My goodness. Yes. So, I normally got to do like 2 supports, three supports. I'm supposed to do like 3 supports for this tournament. But in the interest of time and everything, I decided to cut it down to 2, and we get the 2 best supports we ever have. First, we're going to go with Bard. 40.8% break rate, 52% win rate, KDA 4, 1.1 CS. Remember, he supports, so not as much. 258 damage, 271 gold per minute, minus 3.1 CS per 15, and 16 gold difference at 15 with a 97 XPD at 15 minutes. My lord. And for your counters, by the way, you got Karma at 59.68%, Nautilus 43.14%, Nami 54.9%, Lulu 65.79%, Nico 67.57%, Rakan 41.18%. I think he's probably his weakness. Thresh 46.88%, Leona 64.29%, Alistar 61.54%, Poppy 58.33%, and Seraphine 55.56%. And for your builds, by the way, if you wanted to build Bard right, you need to do Cosmic Biden first, Caretaker Shrine, and Magical Journey. Flash and heal, 55.56% of the win rate, and then you go Electrocute, Cheap Shot, Deboard, Relentless Hunter, and then you got Magical Footwear, Cosmic Insight. You got to build World Atlas, and 2 times the Health Potion, which is going to be giving you 56.7% of your win rate. Then you go Blood Song, Boots of Swiftness, and Dead Man's Plate, which is giving more movement speed, of course. It's going to win you 73.1% of your gains. Then you go Locket of Iron of Solari, 60.82%. And then Bandle Pipes, which I think I heard is the most broken item, of course, although they adjusted, of course, 63.75%. And then if you go in the 5th item, you got to go Locket of Solari again, which is a 50-50. Redemption, 77.78%. Or Bandle Pipes, which is 60.87%. And then you go Shorella's Battle Song, Battle Pipes, or Locket of Iron of Solari. For your regionals, CB LOL, 57, 17, 52.9%, LCS 53%, 13, 46.2%, LEC 49%, 27, 55.6%, 48%, 17, 35.3% for LCP, LCK 48%, 17, 58.8%, and LPL 34%, 33, 57.6%. The best Bard players are on for BLG with a 7 games, 71.4% win rate with 4. LeBroff, 4 games played, 100%, 8.1 KDA. And Duro for Fear X, 3 games, 100% win rate, 7.7. And finally, we reached the bull-tastic player of Alistar. He is one of the best champions ever. And I think Busio was playing on his mind when he faced up against Navi. Although the Navi draft was wrong in most cases, it was Busio who stolen the show. And I hope that Alistar will be played more in this tournament. 63.9% pick rate, 54 win rate, 3 KDA, 1 CS per minute, 136 damage per minute, 255 gold per minute, 0.1 CSD at 15 minutes, minus 154 gold difference at 15 minutes, and XPD at 15 minutes at 1. And in terms of the counters for Alistar, Rakan 50%, 57.69 for Rel, 50% for Nautilus, 52.38 for Ludu, 66.67% Leona, 63.16% for Nami, 53.33% for Thresh, same thing as Karma, 46.15% for Nico, Braum is 50-50, and Bard is 36.36%. Like, Jesus, Bard is not good against him. That's a rough matchup. For Alistar, you got to go Pulverize, Headbutt, and Trample. You got to go Flash Heal at 60.14%. For your main rules is like unsealed spellbook, which is most important, hashtag flash traption, other important, biscuit delivery and cosmic insight, and then for your secondary, nimbus cloak and celerity. For your starting items is World Atlas, 2 times ahead potion at 57.1%. And your core build is Celestial Opposition and Boots of Swiftness and Zeke's Conversion at 47.09% of your win rates. Then your item 4, you're going to go either Locket or Solari, which is giving you 66.67% of your win rates, or Battle Pies, which is 67.74%. For your item 5, you got to go Knight's Vow, which is 41.60% of your win rate, Locket of the Iron of Solari, 62.5%, or Protoplasm Harness at 57.14%. And then item number 6, you got to go Knight's Vow, 60%, Thornmail, Abysmal Mask, and those are your options. For your regional statistics, LEC 50%, 33 60.6%, CB Law 40%, 18 72.2%, LPL 38%, 54 57.4%, 33%, 19 47.4% for LCP, LCK 29%, 22 36.4%, and LCS 20%, 9 22.2%. So good lord, LCS does not play Alistar as much. That's bad. And for the best Alistar players on for BLG 8 games played 62.5% win rate at 3.3 KDA, and by 4 games played 100% win rate at 9.1. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes all of the statistics for all the champions. So I believe those are the main champions that might be playing in first stand, but we are not sure because of like new patch and players have to scrim and boot camp, all kind of stuff. So we don't know when the patch will go. But if you wanted to counter, I believe that Rumble is going to get much love. And I think Jarvan and Zinja is going to be a heavy battle. Oriana, Ari, and Talia is going to be a arms race. Israel, Yanara, Varys, and I should have put Corki in there, but those going to be a tough matchup. And then Bard and Alistar is going to be your flavor of the month. Or maybe Karma, or maybe Lulu for your Enchanter spells, and long range, and summoner spells, Enchanters, of course. So that concludes the whole list. It's a lot of numbers, a lot of rambling knuckles for like 52 minutes, but I hope this will be educational for you to go your rank games and climb and all the kind of stuff. So thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, it will be the regional narratives, and I will do narratives for each and other region. Although there's regions with one in them, I will tell you why this first stand tournament is important for the regional standpoint. Not for the teams, of course, but the regional standpoints. Follow me on YouTube. At least subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on my TikTok to post my League of Legends content. I have 2 more previews to talk about different teams in narrative form. And we will see you on the other side for first stand next week. So Friday narratives, and then for the rest of the week, I'll give you my predictions to see who will win the whole tournament. Until then, stay safe, walk good, and I will see you all next time. Ciao.